Today, I'd like to share with you my model of the brain, some of the major landmarks of the brain and their function. To start, I'd like to tell you about the surface of the brain. It is covered with sulci and gyri. The raised parts are called gyri, and the dips in between them are called sulci. This allows for greater surface area of the cerebral cortex, and it also helps divide the brain into functional areas and in lobes. To begin, we'll start with the cerebral longitudinal fissure, which is marked here by this white line. It starts in the front and the middle of the brain and goes all the way to the back, and it separates the brain into the right and left hemispheres. Here, marked in pink, is the frontal lobe. It's responsible for problem solving, decision making, emotion, language, and muscle movement. In the frontal lobe, we have Broca's area, which I have marked here in this dark pink color. It's inside the brain. And this is a general area, but it's inside the brain, and it is responsible for speech or language production. So someone who has difficulty or damage to Broca's area would have difficulty with speech production. In the back of the frontal lobe, we have the precentral gyrus, which is marked here in this light pink color. The precentral gyrus controls voluntary movement of the cortex. Right behind that, we have the central sulcus, which I have right here, marked with this white line. And the central sulcus separates the frontal lobe from the parietal lobe. Right behind the central sulcus is the postcentral gyrus, which I have marked here in that light orange color paint. It's a primary receptive area for somatic sense, such as touch, pain, temperature, and pressure, and it's located in the parietal lobe, which is marked here in orange. The parietal lobe is located right behind the frontal lobe. It's involved in processing information of the body's senses. It helps you feel touch, know where your body is. Like right now, I know that my feet are under my chair, under the table, but I don't have to look down to know where they are. It also helps with understanding space and direction. Next, we'll move on to the angular gyrus, which is right here in the parietal lobe. And it is marked here in this this green color. And it is in the back of the parietal lobe. It is located between parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes, and it plays a role in language processing, spatial cognition, attention, and memory. Next is the temporal lobes, which are marked here in the blue. Temporal lobe means near the temples, so it's one on each side of your brain. It's associated with hearing, memory, emotion, and some aspects of language. The auditory cortex, which is the main area responsible for processing auditory information, is located in the temporal lobes. Next, we'll go to the lateral fissure, which I have marked here with this white line. And the lateral fissure separates the frontal and the parietal lobes from the temporal lobes, and it's located on both sides of the brain. Next is Heschl's gyrus, which I have marked here with this different color blue paint. Heschl's gyrus is a primary receptive area for auditory information located in the temporal lobes on both sides of the brain. Next, we'll go to the superior temporal gyrus, middle temporal gyrus, and inferior temporal gyrus. They're located in the temporal lobe, so there's going to be three portions, which I have sectioned off using that blue paint. At the top, we have superior temporal gyrus. It's crucial for auditory processing, language comprehension, social cognition, like eye gaze, body language, processing speech sounds, recognizing words, understanding the meaning of language, and it's located on both sides of the brain. Right below that is going to be the middle temporal gyrus, and it plays a role in cognitive functions such as language processing, semantic memory, and the perception of moving objects. It also involves integrating information from different senses and accessing word meaning while reading. It's located on both sides of the brain. Below that, we have the inferior temporal gyrus. It's involved in high-level cognitive functions such as visual and language processing, semantic memory, and emotion regulation. It's also located on both sides of the brain. Next, we'll go to Wernicke's area, which I have here, kind of in that bluish swirl color paint. This is inside the brain, and is responsible for speech and language comprehension. So if someone has damage to Wernicke's area, they would have difficulty comprehending. It's located only on one side of the brain, typically on the left side. Next, we'll go to occipital lobe, which is marked here in green. It's in the very back of the brain, and it's responsible for visual information. It contains the primary visual cortex. Below that, we have the cerebellum, which is responsible for motor coordination and balance, also known as the little brain. The cerebellum contains gyri and sulci, but the folds are much tighter and finer. So instead of using pipe cleaners, I use some metallic paint to demonstrate that. And then last, we have the brainstem. The brainstem connects your brain to your spinal cord, and it regulates basic life-sustaining functions like breathing, heartbeat, blood pressure, sleeping, and waking up. So that is my model of the brain. One last look. Thank you.